أعزائي المشاهدين، أهلا وسهلا بكم من قناة MEA. نقدم لكم Spotlight. My guest today is an inspirational lady. She is brave, bold, and devoted to her clients and the community. A woman who went through the struggle of being pulled out of school at a young age, forced into an arranged marriage, and had to deal with being a teenage mother. However, being the woman that she is, she found her way to success. I'd like to welcome Faya Awada.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Faye. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
How is everything?
Everything's just wonderful.
That's good. They say if you close a door, a window opens. So, how do you believe that your strive to success was driven by your hardships?
Of course, of course. That's so well known. You know, it's something negative could be very positive.
Definitely.
And this is what happened with me. So whatever happened negative, I worked it to be positive.
Definitely. I'm certainly touched by your story. I mean, let's go back to, Mashghara. You came from Mashghara.
Yes, that's my village. That's where I was born.
It is the small village
Yes.
from Bekaa Valley of Lebanon.
Yes, it's a beautiful village.
You've been there?
I
or
haven't been back since 1968.
Okay. So do you have memories of Lebanon?
Yes, I sure do. I definitely do. And I still keep up with all the news about Lebanon. And my family still goes back and forth a lot. You know, my brothers and sisters. My parents were buried in Lebanon, God rest their soul, and so was my brother. So I still, you know, it's my country. It's beautiful. This is my country too, but this is where I was raised, and I was born in Lebanon. So
Yes. Yes.
I take the best of both.
So you came here when you were 8 years old?
Yes, definitely, yes, 8 years old.
So you were very young?
Yes, we
so
came.
tell me the story.
You know, it's so funny. I'm an original boater.
Oh, you are?
Yes. We came on a boat. It's called the Michelangelo boat.
You did?
Yes, we sure did. And that was in 1960. My father had, there were 7 kids, and my mom and dad, so there was 9 of us.
Okay.
And so that was in 1960. It was in September.
Okay.
So we came on a boat, and, you know, we had won the lottery.
Okay.
And we had relatives here. My grandfather was previously here.
Yes.
Prior to that. And my uncle and my aunt were here. So, you know, we came, and I really came on a boat, and the funny thing is the boat was on strike, so we had to stay in Italy for about 2 to 3 weeks.
What, were you scared? I mean,
Of course it's scary. And, you know, we had a very bad incident. One of my older brother had fallen
yeah.
on the steps in the boat.
Oh.
And they said that they couldn't help him because he became unconscious, and they were literally, they didn't know what to do. And you're talking about 1960, it was different. And they wanted to throw him in the sea, because that's it. You know, once you're, that was what was going on there at that time. And so we really had it bad, besides being on strike, besides going, you know, being on a boat, besides, because at that time planes were still dangerous, and, you know, having a family, it's a long journey.
Yes.
And so we thought the boat would have been nice, and, you know, with, you know, having a family with the stuff that you had to bring. So, but no, it was scary, but he survived, and it was nice. And I won the, at that time, I also won the ping pong tournament. Yes,
Okay.
I remember all that. You know, it's so
Oh.
funny being a little child.
Okay.
But coming here, yes. But so when you say someone a boater, I'm like, wait a minute, what is a boater? Someone who came on a boat?
You are actually
I'm
a
that
boater.
person. I'm that person.
So tell me, I mean, when you arrived here at age 8,
Yes.
and what happened? I mean,
Well, you know, we moved, we were on John R. in 16 Mile.
okay.
And my father really struggled, you know. He, in order to survive, my father used to, you know, he used to be an instructor. He used to play music. He used to teach music, the oud and the violin. And it was so different for him to come here. And then we really struggled. And, you know, we had a lot of the people from, we were on John R. 16 Mile. At that time, there wasn't any mosques. And so we were going to church all the time for about 5 years.
Okay.
We had couple of people that were coming to us from the churches. They were taking us to Bible study. We were at the school. We were going to Sunday school. We were doing everything. And then they told us finally that there's a mosque. After all 5 years, they found the mosque for us down here. And, you know, we started going to the mosque. But during this time, my father was really struggling. It was hard for him. It was very hard for him. And, you know, we had at one time, someone from the church had mentioned something to Danny Thomas, and he actually came and bought a lot of goods for us, goodies,
Okay.
that there's this Middle Eastern family that came, and, you know, so we really struggled. My father really struggled hard. He started building bicycles. He would go to, you know, different, you know, during garbage days, he would go and collect bicycle parts and bicycles and just make little things into his own garage.
So it was very difficult.
And, yeah, it was very difficult
for
us.
him and for you guys.
Yes,
yeah.
it was very difficult. But, you know, the only thing that there was is that unity, that love, that extended family. We were all there. We, you know, it was just beautiful. He would always come home to us, you know, after work. He would ride his bicycle like 10 miles in the winter just to get to work.
Okay.
Okay, and we really struggled. But
So tell me about the time when you reached 15,
wow.
16, and I'm sure your dad was very strict.
Yes, my parents were, you know, they loved us very much. And, you know, there was that fear because, you know, where we were living, it was on John and 16 Mile. There wasn't that many Middle Eastern people that we can communicate with. And at that point, I mean, you know, it was so cute because, you know, we used to wear slacks under our skirts. And, you know, and it was great because we weren't stigmatized or we weren't looked at funny. In fact, we were being helped more.
Okay.
You know, people thought we're different, and they loved us for being different.
Okay.
You know, it was nice. But at the same time, you know, we always, you know, you feel awkward. But at one time, it was summer. It was during when I was going into 9th grade.
Okay.
Yeah,
You were 15?
I was 15 and a half.
15 and a half,
yes,
okay.
I'm 15, yeah, 15.
Yes.
I was going into 9th grade, and so we had that, it was a summer break, and my parents said, let's go to Lebanon, you know, we're going to visit your grandfather who was alive, and he was the one that practically raised us, because during in Lebanon.
Yeah, so it was just a vacation
yeah, it was
to go
supposed to
to.
be a vacation,
Okay.
and, you know, but little did I know there was other things planned for me, so.
Okay.
So when we got there, you know, it's an extended family. My father has a second cousin. I mean, a second cousin, and he introduced him to me. He says, "This is going to be your husband." I'm like, "Whoa!" You know, I didn't know that I'm coming here for this.
How did you react? I mean, what did you say?
You know, he said, "Go to your cousins. You know, go stay with your cousins. Go into their home and stay with them." I'm like, "But baby, I came here. I want to stay with you and my mom. You know, I'm 15. I want to stay with you and my grandfather." But no, go down there. But you know, I look at it. It was a struggle. I was put into a marriage.
Did you like him to begin
no, I did
with?
Not. No, I didn't even.
Was he a lot older than you? Or?
No, he was only 19. And he was only
15.
19.
Yeah, but he was young.
He was young, of course.
Young, yes.
You know, and you know, it's so funny. He's my third cousin. He's my father's second cousin. And back in '68, things were different. You know, a father's word is finalized.
That's it.
That's it. It's different.
But a question,
Yes.
did you know what marriage means
No,
at that
no,
time? What a
did I know?
commitment to
No,
a person
I
means?
I was a tomboy. I know, I was a runner. I used to ride bicycles. I was a runner. I used to just love to run. I did.
So you just said yes.
And it wasn't just, no, I didn't say yes. I struggled, I ran away, I did everything I could over there, but it didn't, things didn't work the way I wanted to work.
So you got married in Lebanon and you came here?
Yes,
you came back here?
I came back. It was something that it's not really, it was a bad experience, but from that bad experience I learned a lot. And all I wanted to do was come home to my brothers. I felt like I would
regardless
be protected.
if you are married or not?
I just wanted to come home.
Okay.
The marriage happened. It wasn't a very good experience. But, you know, out of that experience, I learned a lot. And maybe that's what made me become what I am today.
I'm sure it is. But, I mean, you were brave. I mean, not many people would do that at that time. I mean, I'm sure divorce was unspoken of.
No, of course.
At that time.
Yes, of course. I was the first one in my family to speak about a divorce. When I came here, I think the marriage, I was like 3 months in Lebanon.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stuff. I ran away during my wedding. I was in a wedding dress down to the cemetery. There was all type of stuff going on. It's something that you really, it's there,
yeah.
but you want to really take it as a learning experience, even though it wasn't the best experience to learn from.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, but to walk out, it took a lot of determination.
Yes, yeah.
A lot of, I mean, I'm sure, I mean, you had no fear, obviously, I mean, to walk out, right?
Well, you know what, when, if you say walk out during the wedding night, yes, I did run away, or you're talking about walk out of the marriage.
Out of the marriage, out of the marriage.
Yes, it was, I walked out of that marriage
Yes.
when my son was 2. I really ran away 3 times prior to that. Yes, I ran away on my wedding day, and then I was found in an outhouse.
And they forced you to
they
come
brought
back.
Me back. They brought me back, and I had to go through what I had to go through, and you know, it was not a good experience. But I look back and I say, you know, whatever happened, happened. It was meant to happen. Maybe that was the way of my foundation to be where I am today. I don't know.
So you took your negative situation or experience, yes, and you turned it into a positive one, obviously. What do you say today to women who are in bad marriage or unhappily married?
Well, you know, the thing is, if you go back in the 60s and you know, and back to 68 or in the 60s, you know, we're even, when we talk about arranged marriages, even in the United States here, we got something called the Hatfields and the McCoys. They're called gunshot weddings. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Where if you've been with my daughter, you know, you're going to get married, you know, under gunshot.
Still,
so
the culture is there. I mean,
yes, we still have it up north. I mean, up down south, it's called the Hatfields and the McCoys.
But very rare. But very rare.
It happens. Yeah. But then at the same time, when I look at what happened to me, I mean, when someone comes and tells me I'm in a bad marriage today, I mean, first of all, I believe in true love. I believe if you marry, it has to be true love. Okay, I don't like divorces, but I am for a divorce if there's a couple that's fighting constantly or in front of the kids. Even if you have one kid, get out of it right away.
Right.
Because if you know it's not going to work, if you tried, yes, there's marriage counselors, there's all type of things. If you try and it doesn't work, fine, get out.
Yeah.
But only basically so you don't have another kid or 3 kids or 4 kids and keep going and say for the kids' sake. For the kids' sake, you get out. Only because you don't want them to see you suffering, cursing the father or cursing the mother, or vice versa.
Right, but you mentioned something to me off air about, I mean, it's okay to leave, but don't leave your kids.
Yes.
And I like what you actually said.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's why I said kids are very important, because kids will always stand. I mean, for a little girl, she's gonna look at her father as her figure. If she's gonna look at the man that's screaming at the mother or abusing her or calling her all types of names and cursing or wherever, I mean, you look at it. You're better off getting out of the relationship and still being together, like I did. I mean, as much as I did not love my husband, my ex-husband, yes, I had a child from him. And yes, that child, I thank God that I had him, because I did horrible things to try not to have. And I thank God. God meant for me to have that child, because he was my savior. He was my angel. Okay. So yes,
I was inspired by your
He was
son.
16 years old. I got him when I was 15 and a half going on. I was almost 16. And yes, I said, my ex-husband was a wonderful person. Okay. But at the same, we weren't for each other. I didn't want to get married.
So you knew it, right away.
And we weren't for each other. He tried, but it didn't work. So I took off one day, in the middle of the night with my child. Okay, but I did it for my son, because I didn't want my son to see me abusing his father, or his father abusing me, or not being in a relationship, a healthy relationship.
Yes.
So I did it for my kid, and yet at the same time, I have a very good rapport, friendship with my ex-husband now. I mean, I actually did paperwork for both of his wives. The one that passed away, God rest her soul, and the one that's present with him. And we have a very good relationship. We're friends. Okay. And to me, because of my child, because there's no reason that child should not be a victim. Okay. And this is what we have here. We have a lot of, in our community, I'll say, for the child, for the children, I'm staying. Well, when did this start? When I was my first child. Well, why did you go further with 5, 6 kids and then, further and further? Yes, there's family counseling, there's all type of help. Don't, and that's our problem. We try not, our community don't go out for that help because that stigma, عيب or something. لا ما في شيء عيب. كليتنا عندنا مشاكل، كليتنا بني آدم.
Right.
ما حدا معصوم، ما حدا everybody، كليتنا we make mistakes. كلنا بنغلط بالحياة، في أشياء كتير بنغلط فيها. بس بالوقت جت بيجي واحد بيقول كرمال الولد، كرمال الأولاد بدي أقعد، لا كرمال الأولاد حياتك بيكون بخطر، حياته هو بيكون بخطر. حياة أولادك بيكون بخطر.
So you're supposed to be with your kids, but at the same time, if you're not happy with that person, you
work it out.
You work it out. You can be a friend.
You can be friends.
You can be a friend for the sake of the children.
I mean, I was in a marriage that I it was like there was so much hurt and anger, but yet I didn't allow that. He's still my cousin.
Yes.
He's still my third cousin, third cousin. I'm still going to see him. Sure. No matter what, he's part of my life. He's the father of that child. That child was not born out of wedlock. He is the father of that child. I have to make sure that that child knows who his father is. Yeah. And I have to make sure that there's a good rapport between that child and that father.
Yes. And mainly respect, I think respect plays a big role.
Exactly. We have to learn, but we can't say, oh, خلاص, طلقنا وما عاش في. لا حرام، مشان الأولاد حرام. بس ما عم نعرف نحن، ما عم نعرف نركز، ما عم نعرف نروح على المطارح اللي بدها تعاوننا مزبوط، ما عم نعرف هيك. بس وقت أنا ضد الطلاق. بصراحة أنا ضد الطلاق إذا اثنين فاتوا بحب مزبوط، حب وعشان الجواز. It's marriage is it's like a divorce is like there's a victim. There's always a victim. It's like death. One person is going to be hurt, whether it's the male or the female, but the children are the most victims in this, because you go further and you go further. Why wait? If you're having such problems, why wait for a second child or third or fourth? If you can't do it through family counseling or through help, or figure out if your husband or your wife is on drugs or alcohol or whatever, it could be vice versa. I'm not just saying man, or I'm saying woman too, but both. If, try to help each other. If you can't help each other, do it the right way. But, for the kids, because I see so much of that going on here. It's so sad. I've seen women give up their kids. I've seen men give up their kids. Nobody even cares, بكره بتجوز وحده بدالها، بتجوز واحد بداله.
So it's okay to divorce, but keep a good relationship with your ex for the sake of the children.
Yes, I mean, that's what I did. I had to do it for my son. Yes, I didn't love my ex-husband. Yes, I despised him for allowing it, but it wasn't in his hand. And yes, I love my parents very much because they thought they did the right thing. And after there's 12 of us. My father, after me, I was the only one that this happened to. And he felt like he did something wrong to me in all his life,
because you got divorced?
Because he felt and he hurt me, but he didn't hurt me. He was trying,
to do the right thing, maybe back
for
then.
me.
Yes.
Because in when we came here, things were different. You're talking about the hippie days. You're talking about the drug scenes. You're talking the LSD time. You're talking about all this. And what he wanted was the best for his child. So he thought that's the best. And at that time, you can't, sure, yes, I was angry. I was hurt. I'll never go back to Lebanon. I thought it was Lebanon. I thought it was not Lebanon.
But now you understand.
I understood.
Yes.
And that is why, as far as social work, I went into social work because even when I was 13 years of age, I was, always taken. And can you help this person? Can you help this person? It wasn't Middle Eastern kids either.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah, we're going to talk about this profession of
so
yours.
With the marriage, I mean, I think love is beautiful. I think that a marriage should not have to have so much frictions if two people can, for the children's sake, meet. There's this anger. I've seen women that don't want their husbands to see these kids, period, the anger. I've seen men do the same thing. And to me, I mean, that's a problem.
Do you think it's ignorance?
You know what? I think
exactly?
Is it
the hurt or the ignorance?
It's the anger.
Is
it's the anger or the anger or the hurt. Is it the anger or the hurt? I mean, it all depends. I mean, it all depends on the person themselves.
Yeah.
Because you really have to learn their personalities to understand them. Is it because they're told it's over, the cut ties? You can't cut ties because you have the ties already, which is the children.
For life.
For life.
For life.
Absolutely. So for life. And then if you marry someone else, you know, فماما مير سما خدي عطي ولادك لجوزك ما بدي إياهم or vice versa. You know,
It doesn't work that way.
It's not because, come on, I mean, these are our
I think
children.
you have to be real
You know,
about it.
they were meant to be born for us, you know. God gave them to us as gifts. He used us. He used the mothers, you know, as key, and the parents as key, the father as a key to bring this soul into this world so we can take care of them.
Yes.
And not to deprive them of the both the mother and father, because that's what happens with these kids. They end up they confused. Yes, they end up don't know what's going on. They they hurt. They become in school very wild. You know, go to peers for instead of coming to the parent for seeking help. They go to peers,
so
and
there's
then
always
the peers,
consequences.
and there's consequences. You're losing those kids.
Yes.
So as far as my marriage, yes, I was very angry. I was very hurt, but like I said, I was the first one. I was the first one in the whole family of the Awadas down the line, going back all the way.
What a challenge! How old were you? 19.
I was 17
when you
and
got
that was
divorced.
in 1972. In 1972. I got divorced.
Okay, so you were pretty young.
Yeah, I was still
to
young.
make a decision.
And at that time, they wouldn't allow. You know what's funny? They wouldn't allow pregnant women to go to school.
Really?
Yes, when I was because I wanted to go back to school when I was 16. When I was pregnant, when I had my son.
You were not supposed to.
No, you weren't allowed here in the States.
Okay.
Because it was you don't allow that for examples for the kids.
So
for the children.
Before, no, now it's okay. Right?
Now they allow it.
Fine.
It doesn't. But I'm talking about you can go. I was a 9th grader. Okay, I was going into 9th grade. I had just finished my middle school, and I was going to 9th grade. And at that time, kids weren't allowed, women like me weren't allowed with children or, pregnant girl to go to school. Okay, so after I got divorced, I went and got a GED. GED was harder than today, by the way.
Yes.
I wanted to go back to school.
Yeah.
So, I struggled, and then after 72, after my divorce, I got my GED, and then I went to Henry Ford in 1978 for 1 semester. And then I went out to Oakland Community College in Auburn Hills.
And you got your bachelor's.
And then I got my bachelor's, and I worked on my master's at Wayne State in criminal justice. I was working on that. So I got 2 associates from Oakland Community. I did so much. I was just going to school because I just wanted to, I was deprived.
Of course. Who was helping you
with
the baby?
Here's what's interesting. With Tariq, his name is Todd. Okay. With Todd, even though I ran away from my ex-husband's home, they tried to bring me back a couple of times. I couldn't. So I told Mom, listen, I'm not going to be what you guys feel. I'm not any, I'm a decent girl, not just because I'm Middle Eastern, not because because this is our culture, our ways. Even the United States here, we have beautiful ways. We have it's good. They had extended families before too here in the States. It's not nuclear like it is now. So I said, listen, I want to go to school. So what I would do, I hired a nurse. I was working in the school. I was working in the school and going to school at the same time.
Okay.
So I hired a nurse at that time to take care of Todd, and then but this Tariq, I call him Todd, by the way. At that time, and then my mom said, "Listen, nobody's going to take care of this kid except us." So I would drive all the way from Rochester, 23-mile road, all the way to 12 Mile and Crooks.
To take him to your mother?
To my mother's house.
Okay.
So while I'm going to school, I would pick him up, and then when he started going to school, I would pick him up from school and bring him with me to the college, okay? And he would stay in the playroom. And so he was always with me.
So that was a lot of work.
It was a struggle.
You.
But it was a struggle, but you know what, overall, I thank God that, I was brought up by wonderful parents, and my culture is beautiful. And like I said, yes, I was brought up here. But I took the best of both cultures and made it into my own. I mean, I took the educational part. I took my culture of what is right from wrong. Just like our religion, all religions, whatever you want to call them. It's a foundation for us.
But I think you matured faster.
I did. I had to.
I think.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I had to because I had this little child, and he was like my doll. He was my savior. He was my savior. And, it was always Tariq me, Tariq Faye,
Yes,
and it was always the school. At the school, if you really want to get to Faye's heart, you really have to get to her sons because that's her pride and joy.
That's so nice. That's so nice. We're going to talk right now about Faya Awada, the social worker,
Wow.
who is licensed by the state of Michigan.
Yes.
And you are an immigration officer.
No, I was an immigration clerical assistant, and I'm a
Okay.
paralegal.
Oh, you're a paralegal. Okay.
Yes, I do
Okay.
that.
We're going
and
to
I'm a
talk about.
social
We're going
worker.
to talk about actually why this profession.
The social work?
Because there is a lot of I think curiosity about this type of work. So we're going to talk about why you picked this profession.
Because, you know, like I just said, when I was 13, I was
Yeah.
always called, and my mom used to call me all the time to translate for her
Yeah.
and her friends. So I was this little girl that's going among all this group of people.
So you felt it
I
from
felt, yes.
when you were young.
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
and I felt it when I was young.
Yes.
And I said, you know what, I enjoy helping people. And I believe that, you know, what happened to me with my marriage, I always wanted a helping hand myself. So what I went into saying, I wanted to be that helping hand for others, if
Yes.
there was others like me. And at the same time, it was something that I want to do. It's natural.
No one can put this in you.
No, it's
it has to
natural.
come from within.
It's
I
a
think.
natural feeling. I always
Yes.
said that you have to get into something that you enjoy, like a hobby.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
you don't go in it, because it's a job that it pays. Because social workers are the least paid professionals. Okay, so I would like to.
You
add
should
that.
mention that.
Yes.
Yeah, for
Social
people who are
workers the
seeking to be social
are
workers.
the least paid professionals.
Yeah.
But we get into it because we enjoy being
Yes.
that helping hand.
Yes, yes.
Whether it's for the community or for that individual or whatever, or whether it's in a hospital setting or a
Right.
whatever setting.
But you have to have, I mean, the tools. You have to have the knowledge of your native culture, and at the same time, the American
Well,
culture.
this
I mean,
is-
both.
This is why I said I took both. Yes,
Yes.
I came when I was 8. Yes, I was raised here. So when I take the best of both cultures, okay, when you take the best and you
Right.
learn to implement, you learn to implement these ideas, you learn to, but it's natural. I mean, how natural can you say, don't hurt this person because what did they do to you, to marry you or to try to help you or to bring your child into
Yes,
this
yes,
world?
yes.
That's the most natural thing. You don't have to be educated to learn not to hurt anyone.
Right.
You don't have to be educated to say
Yes.
this is wrong. You don't have to be educated to say, look, I can help you from my heart. I know what you're going through because the experience, there's a lot of people that have this education but lack the experience themselves. And they think, yes, only because the books taught me that. No, it's the experience. There are so many people that don't have that degree, but the experience teaches them more.
Right.
And they're volunteers at hospitals.
Yeah.
They're volunteers in courts. They're volunteers because they know what's going on.
What is the most rewarding part of being a social worker?
To make people happy, to show them that there's someone there,
Yeah.
that's a help, that's out there, that I didn't have, that
Okay.
I can put my hand out for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, that I could help you. The reward is to see that smile when that person realizes when I get a phone call, when I used to work with Access and the International Institute, they tell me there's a senior citizen woman that's in a convalescent home that her family had left her. When I walked in there and I looked at her, she says, أنتِ بنت عرب؟ أقول نعم أنا بنت عرب. قال حبيبتي أولادي حطوني هون أنا من عائلة كبيرة من بيروت أنا صحفية أنا هيك بس في مصاري كتير بس عم بيفهموني هون طلعت فيها عبطتني she was crying قالت لي مش معقول أنت بنت عرب قلت لها بلا أنا بنت عرب حبيبتي قولي لي من أي عائلة قالت لي من أي عائلة and it's true the family put her there because of the money issue. It was sad.
That was very
And
sad.
I tried so hard but I was limited. I was so limited because I was working with the International Institute and I was outplaced at Access. And, to know that I was there for that woman, just that big hug and, just to touch me.
Yes.
And she says, أنا من بيروت وأنا هيك وأنا هيك. And she showed me, and she's drawn. I told her, show me. She's an artist. She's a writer. I said, show me. She's literally showed me all this. I mean, I bought a pencil and a pen.
Yeah.
And she literally showed me all this, what she's doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm
yeah.
like, is this for real? And I went back to work. They said, Miss Awada, there's a limit. You have to cry. And I didn't like that. I don't like that. I didn't like that because I felt like, yes, there's a limit, but at the same time, there's a humanity too, the humanity part. Don't stop me here because maybe if I was on my own, I could do more as a person. I could go back as a person. And there's other issues.
So sometimes they put limit on
Oh, yes,
how much
of course,
you can
of
help.
course. There's a limit.
You're talking as an organization?
As an
or
organization.
yeah.
As a social worker, there's a part you know your limits too, but the limitation of helping on a human level as a social worker, there is no limit.
There is no limit.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel. This is me.
Yeah.
But as an if you work for an organization, you know, there is a limit. Whether it's a hospital or whether this, I've worked, by the way, I've worked in Pontiac Osteopathic Hospital. I did drug and alcohol abuse before I went to Access in the International Institute. I also did probation internship for a year at Oakland County. And I did some internship at State Clinton Valley Hospital, State Hospital before it closed down in Pontiac. So I'm familiar with the social work aspect. I'm familiar with, and I did a lot of teenager counseling and mental health at Access at one point. But so I didn't like the limitation when you work for an organization because I feel that, being on my own, yes, I'm limited as a social worker to an extent, but it doesn't limit me from being a human being.
Yes.
Because I want to be that person that I didn't have that person to put out their hand and say, look, I can help. And when a person comes to me, talks about, oh, I was in an arranged marriage. What arranged marriage? When was that? Oh, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, how? Tell me. That's not it. The way you're speaking to me, it's not. Don't use that. It's not the range. Now, we have so many organizations. We got so many psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers that's there to help. Okay, but our people are not going out there and seeking it because it's
This is what we should actually shed a light on about. I mean, what does this the Arab American community lack?
That's what it lacks. Let me tell you.
This is what it lacks.
Because what happens, I tell them روحوا على هذا المطرح، روحوا لا في ولاد عرب هونيكم مش رح يفهموا، لا مش قضية هيك. There's other organizations. See, when they come to me, I mean, I've been doing this since 1983, and when I know so much. People will come and tell me, I'm having this relationship, whether it's man or male. I'm doing this, and I try to say, listen, we could work something around. We can work. That's why I was part of the arranged marriages program with the mental health at Access. But until today, people will not go to organizations because they feel they're going to talk.
So how do you fix that? How do you make people more open, or they should talk about their problems so other people learn from it? I love
group therapies. I love group. I love seminars. I love group therapy. I used to hold seminars before in group therapy on maybe 4 or 5 women at one time, and gradually it grows. It doesn't have, you can get a group of women together that have a small issue, maybe 2 or 3, and gradually they'll work together like groups. Vice versa
and
for
you
men.
See Arab American
yes, definitely.
Get involved, or they participate?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Right now there's a doctor, she's non-Arab, and she's trying to work on a big program, and she asked me to help her with it. And it's very close, and it's down the street from my office. And I talked to a couple medical doctors, physicians, and I told them, look, this woman's got this grant. And if we're having people being afraid, we're not interested in making money for our Middle Eastern organizations. We're interested in helping our clients, these people that could be on suicide watch, these people that are being beat up, whether it's a man or a woman, these people that are abused, whatever, or the children. So this woman came to me, she says, I want to open it up where I can get Middle Easterns involved, and I know, I've known you've been, around for a long time, so what is it if you could help me out with this program? And I said, I know a couple of doctors that would be, so to me, if this place is down this about maybe a mile away from different organizations, it'd be great, because if you don't want to go to a Middle Eastern organization, an Arabic organization, because you feel like because it is true. I could see.
So there's other places to go to.
Places they can go to.
But we should encourage them to go to these places.
We do encourage. Here's the thing. Yes, we can encourage them. There's Access, there's the Arab Chaldean, there's other organizations. Okay. There's even the International Institute, my training ground, where they're still around. There's other organizations all over. There's organizations out in Pontiac. I've been through many organizations that I've been a helping hand between the organizations and vice versa with courts as well, with my community. So there's so much to go to. But the problem is, if they go, their fear, and I tell them, no, there's these doctors, they respect your privacy. Well, if I go and sit out there, they'll call my name, or I بقولوا ليش هوني وليش هيك, this is انه بيستحوا يحكوا بالموضوع, ويمكن هالحكيم بيعرف جوزها لما بيعرف بمرته, لما vice versa ولاده.
So when will this go away?
It has to go away.
When will this go away?
It has to go away, because let me tell you what's going on here. We need our clergymen, we need our scholars, okay? We need them to be involved. We need our doctors. We need them to organize. We need to say, it's okay, we all have that. Clergymen have problems in their own homes. Social workers, we have problems. Doctors, we have problems. Lawyers,
so everyone
we have
has problems.
We all have problems. Yeah. We're not immune to problems. We have them. The problem is we're not uniting. We are not uniting as a group, because everybody wants to be so-called leader. Everyone wants to go on and say this. But don't stand there, do seminars and just talk about, about depression, the anxiety, panic, this type of thing. Talk about how we could help you, not just say, how we can break the stigma in our community. And it's not happening. And like I always said, this one doesn't make, but this makes the noise. And that's the problem we've got.
Yes.
I mean, yes, I've been here since 1960. But if you take my blood from here, I'm an Arab, okay? I'm an Arab.
Sure.
I'm an American Arab, okay? I'm more American, by the way, than 85% of the Americans here. I'm a baby boomer, okay? But my nationality, my blood is here.
You are Arab.
Okay? I'm an Arab.
Yes.
I am a Middle Eastern American woman that wants to see her people don't struggle, not be stigmatized by anything. I want them to fit in.
Yes.
And that's what I want
I
to
hope
see.
So. In this profession, it is the willing to work with underprivileged or maybe vulnerable or disadvantaged people. Have you ever felt not safe?
No.
Never.
No.
Like aggression,
No.
anger from families, they take it out on you. Never felt that way.
No, I've never had fear. I got angry a couple of times where I would yell at a person and say, "Are you serious? يعني لوين لهالدرجة؟ كل قدي في بغض, كل قدي في بغض وكل قدي في حقد, But I didn't have fear. I've never feared that, because I know behind. I learned something, and when I was about 17 years old, and I learned that from a Sira. I used to do medical assistant program, and I learned that she just stood there. She says, "Remember, Faye, it's called even a hard-boiled egg has a heart of gold." So she says you have to break. What you do is you introduce yourself, and you talk to that person natural. Don't stand there and say, "I'm a social worker, I'm going to do this for you, do this." No, you just walk in, and the key is be a friend to that person. Just sit down and try to work it out, And if you feel you can't do it, and but I always say, "Where there's a will, there's a way." So I always did it. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I try. I try my best, because I think you have to be natural. Yeah, you just have to be. You can't just say, "Well, I'm here because I got to take this information," and this and this is that's the fear. The minute the Middle Eastern person sees your name, your husband's name, your mom's name,
like you're dry.
What just happened?
Yeah.
What just happened?
It's just like
they got scared.
Yeah, they get scared. Yeah.
You walk in, طيب شو المشكلة today? شو عاملين طب شي بعضكم?
They feel more comfortable and
because
relaxed.
it's the truth. We do that.
Yes.
I mean, I come from a family of 12. I mean, you can't tell me that there's not going to be abuse by your brother beheading you, or your sister, or your mother pulling your hair, or
there's
whatever.
There's
incidents. I mean, it happens.
If you ever want to change one aspect of your what would that be?
You know what? I really like what I've become.
I've
become. It's funny. That's the same question my granddaughter asked me. She works in the human resources in Orlando, Florida. She's 24 years old now, and I have 3 grandchildren, by the way.
Yes.
And she asked me, "Sito, I want to do a report on you." I go, "Why?" She says, "I just admire you very much." And she says, "I want to ask, is there anything you would like to change?" I go, "No." She says, "Wouldn't you have changed with my grandfather?" I go, "No." She goes, "Why?" I said, "Sito, you know, God has plans for each one of us. There was a reason I was born here. Whether, you know, if you want to say I got married, yes. Did I fall in love at one time? Yes. Did I have children? Yes. Did I educate myself? Yes. So, anything else? She goes, I said, is there anything else that was missing? She goes, no. I said, so just let me be.
That mean you are content.
I'm content
with
with
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
content.
Yeah.
I'm content because, you know, everybody tells me, aren't you going to retire? Retire from what? Talking? Retire from helping, filling out forms, helping people
Like this
getting
is your
together?
life. This is a part of your life.
You know, being there, I mean, to be kind, retire from being kind. You know, retire from telling someone, come here, you know, give them a hug or a warm fuzzy. I mean, you know.
I think that gives you the meaning of being alive. Or
And it's our nature. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny that, you know, my father, when he came with 7 kids here, he had like, he had 6 more. I mean, he had 6 more after, I'm sorry, 5 more after. It's funny, we all think the same way. We all are in that type of work in our own way.
So it's in the family.
It runs because
it runs in the
like
family.
it's our genes.
Yeah.
it's in our genes, and
Yeah.
So even my own granddaughter, she used to say, I'll never do this. And you know what? She's in the human resources program right now. She's out there helping paint houses and Florida.
So you are the inspiration,
You know,
for them.
I don't know if I'm that. You know, I don't know if I am. But
I'm sure you inspired
You
a
know,
lot of people,
but,
not just your grandkids.
well,
I'm sure.
thank you. Thank you.
21 years of having your own independent office.
Yes.
Okay, and you won an award from the National Association of Women Business Owners of Greater Detroit chapter in 1998
Yes.
as one of the top 10 women business owners of distinction award. How did that feel?
Well, okay. First of all, it felt good, but it was the worst. It was the worst month. It was the worst time of my life because that's the same month that I lost my mother, and that was 2 weeks after.
After the award?
Yeah, my mom had died on the 5th, and that was 2 weeks. And the family kept saying, "You have to go, you have to go," because it's something, you know. Because she was looking forward to be part of that, and I said, "I can't be on that. I can't be on that stage. I can't." So I got up there, and I don't know if they still have the video. I just said, "Thank you very much, but I'm sorry I can't go further than this." And I just broke down on stage because they said, "Why?" I just lost my mom, and this was something for her that I had to stand up here, and it was good because I wanted her to see it. Because you know, I always wanted to prove to my mom and my dad that I'm not going to be that person that you know. That everybody says that they quote, oh, you know, once you're divorced, you know, they stigmatize you that you're going to be on welfare then, or you're going to end up doing nothing, you know.
So you just wanted to prove yourself in front of them. Yeah.
And she was proud of me. They were proud. You know, they loved me. They you know, and I loved them very much. But I just wanted her to be there. And I told them spiritually she was with me. But it was. That's why I said it was a very good. It was nice. But it was the saddest moment in my life because she couldn't be there, and at that time none of my family was there because it was just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the loss of a mother. I mean, she was only 66 years old, 65, going on 66.
So she was young.
She was young.
She was
you
young.
know, so it was very hard.
Yeah.
So, but it was like, yes, a memory, but it was the worst memory.
Yeah. Too bad it has to be
Yes,
associated
and
with
I didn't want to
you
go,
know.
but they insisted you just have to go. You
Yeah.
just have to, you know. And yeah, at the stage, I think everybody was crying because I just broke.
You broke down.
I broke down.
Yes. Well,
It's
sorry
natural.
about that.
It's
It is
natural. As
This
human,
is life, and
you know, as human. That's why I
Yes.
said social workers, doctors, everybody. It's natural. We all cry. We all, you know, we all go through depression.
Sometimes
we
we
go
have
through
to cry.
anxiety.
Sometimes we have to
You have
let
to
it
let
out.
go. You have to let it out.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It purifies your soul when you
Absolutely.
cry.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful.
Do you owe your success to a particular person?
Both my parents. Whatever they did,
Well said.
even though I had a lot of anger and hurt, they supported me all the way afterwards. And, you know, they understood. And it's them.
Yes.
It's them, no matter what, because they wanted, they were worried that you know, that this little girl who listens, you know, I had dreams. I wanted to work in the United Nations. I wanted to go into acting because I was in acting classes. But you know what? It was like what they did, they thought they were doing the best because that is how, you know, how they were brought up.
Because you knew they wanted the best for you.
Yes, they wanted the best. But at that time, I didn't see it.
Yes.
There was anger, yes. There was hurt, yes. But I've always had my house open for them. And they've always had their house open for me. And she took care of my son.
Yes.
And, you know, it was like, okay, we understand. But it took them a long time for them because it took them, for 3 years they wouldn't come over my house, but I was there every day because they didn't like the idea of me being divorced.
Yes.
But I just kept going, trying to get degree after degree, certificate after certificate, just to prove to them that I'm there.
Yes, yes.
And so that's what happened. But to them, like I said, you know, parents, at that time, these things occurred. And yes, there's a fine line between religion and culture because it's not religion. It was the culture of that beautiful village or the culture of our ways because it was not religion. Religion that says do not force.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's good to emphasize about this.
Yes, a lot of people don't understand that because it's a culture of that certain village. Just like it was different in Beirut. Okay. Beirut was different as opposed to the village culture. You know, the village ways of living.
Yeah.
So it was acceptable.
Yes, yes, yes. Faya Awada, there is a lot to talk about with you. I personally have a lot of admiration
Thank you
for
very
you.
much. I admire you very much.
And I would like you to come back again and visit us and talk about more of your achievements and everything.
Thank you. Thank you
and
very
thank
much.
you for being here.
It's my pleasure. I really want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to sit and meet with you. I've always said the highest respect and admiration for you.
Thank you.
I
we wish you more success.
You know, no.
Okay.
I love you. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
And, you know,
Thank you.
very kind. And I love this. You know, I'm glad that we have this programs here that, you know, is very informative for all of us.
Thank you.
And
Thank
your guests are just great. You know, it's
Thank
unbelievable.
you.
I mean, you learn so much.
Yes.
I really do. I've learned. You know, I've learned so much from your guests. You'll be surprised.
Thank you. Thank you. And come back and visit us
I
again,
would
please.
love to.
Okay.
I would
Thank
love
you.
To. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Very much. Thank you.
أعزائي المشاهدين، كنتم مع سبوت لايت من قناة MEA. نتمنى لكم أطيب التمنيات وشكرا لحسن المتابعة وإلى اللقاء.